Staring at the moon was a common practice at a certain period. Do we not say that the moon inspires poets? That's true, but only by staring at it. Lunar cults developed in places where the skies were clear. The moon was stared at, or its reflection in water or on a reflective surface such as shells or trays. This was the case for Nostradamus. Interpreting the prophecies of Nostradamus increasingly seems to be a waste of time. All the authors on the subject have lost their way in inextricable definitions and interpretations. What is really important is the technique used by Nostradamus and his use of phosphenes, using polarized or reflected light to obtain his prophecies. The Centuries, compilation of Nostradamus' prophecies, include interesting passages describing the method he used to obtain his visions. Visions that he saw himself, but also that he showed Catherine de Medicis by order of the Queen. Briefly, this is the story. Catherine de Medicis asked Nostradamus for a fortune-telling session. She wanted to know how many years each one of her sons, her heirs, would reign. She did make one condition. She asked Nostradamus to be able to see for herself. It's a bit as if you went to see a fortune teller saying, "Okay, I'm the one who has to see." Nostradamus had no choice but to obey, and his method consisted in staring at the moon's reflection on a silver tray. Much has been written about this silver tray, especially about the astrological signs that decorated it. But I think it's normal for an astrologer to have the astrological signs around his tray. The most important element, the key element, has been completely left aside. That element is staring at the moon's reflection in the tray. After a certain amount of time, Nostradamus called Catherine de Medicis. When he felt that he was ready, by a mental effort he communicated his vision to Catherine de Medicis, a bit like what I was saying about the African religious leader who can communicate visions to people close by. No one knows if the prediction came to pass. What is important is the technique that was used. To sum up, why speculate so much about Nostradamus' centuries? If all the books ever written about him had concentrated on his use of phosphenes, humanity might have taken an altogether different path. Candles. I am often asked whether phosphenes can be made using candles. If there's only one candle, then no. The impact is not enough to activate the brain. We can, however, note some cases where candles are used, especially the use made by fortune tellers. They sit in front of their crystal ball with lit candles on either side of it, and they stare at the reflection of the candles in the crystal ball, creating a sort of magnifying glass effect. And when the fortune teller is asked how she sees her visions, they all say the same thing. I see a colored cloud around the crystal ball, and it is in that colored cloud that I see my visions. Now that you're familiar with the practice of phosphenes, you understand that it isn't possible to stare at a light source without having a cophosphene. A phosphene that's automatically projected onto the crystal ball so that it appears to be either blue or pink depending on which phase of the phosphene has been reached. There are other categories of phosphenes that we will discuss later. What you need to remember is that I only talk about physiological phosphenes and not pathological phosphenes, which are harmful and have no interest in what we're trying to achieve, and that is the development of the memory, concentration, and creativity. For example, the dreams we have every night are a variety of phosphine. In yoga, you're required to perform breathing exercises, which triggers another variety of phosphine. Phosphenes can also be created by listening to certain music. Some music lovers even say they can see clouds of color passing before their eyes. The drum is a sacred instrument in all traditions. The drum is the instrument that produces the most phosphenes when you're close to it. To mention but a few examples. You will find many more examples in the issues of Phosphenic Energy Universe that you can download from the site. In one of the coming videos, we will discuss visual chaos and looking at the aura.